Want to know how I manifested not one, but two checks for $53,000 in the span of 6 months last year? Then go ahead and listen in. I am going to be sharing my tips, tricks, and secrets to manifesting magic in your life. I'm going to do this by sharing my own stories as an inspiration for you for what's possible. And truly anything is possible when you tune into the power of belief and when you know and understand how the universe works. This isn't something that I just woke up one day and was super lucky to understand. This comes from a lot of deep soul searching, inner healing work, meditation, yoga trainings, investing in coaches, listening to my own intuition and authenticity, and a lot of reading self-help books. So this is my first podcast / interview. I guess not really an interview because it's just me talking to you, but it's my first podcast, my first YouTube series. This is unfiltered, unedited. You are going to get a true, genuine picture of me, my life, who I am, real, raw, and authentic. I have no makeup on. I am not in a fancy studio. I'm recording this video on my iPhone. So as this show grows and evolves over the next year, 2 years, whatever that may be, maybe it'll be a lot different. Maybe there will be ads in the future and collaborations. Right now, this is just me, myself, and the entire universe. And I just want to genuinely share from my heart and soul the magical dream life that I have been able to create for myself in the last year or two. And it's not from a place of wanting to brag about anything that I have. I really do want to show other people what is possible, because I have been drawing in and magnetizing all of these incredible synchronicities and things beyond my wildest dreams over the last year. And whenever I share these stories with my friends, they are always sitting there wanting to know every detail. How'd you make it happen? What? That's crazy. Every single story. And not only that, but the biggest and most potent story that I have that is really proof of creating and drawing in, and really my biggest manifestation story, is the first check that I got for $53,000 last year. And it was something I was calling in, and I made it happen. In a few minutes, I'm going to explain how that worked. But I think this story is the most interesting to people because it's money, because it's such a specific number and amount that came to me. Because everybody wants to be able to not work for $53,000, right? And anytime I start to share this story and share the book that helped get me there and the mindset, all of a sudden I'm in a room with, a few people, and I start telling one or two people the story, and next thing you know, I have a crowd of 5, 10, 15 people kind of surrounding me and leaning in and wanting to know, oh my God, how did you do it? How did you learn? What's the name of the book that you did? So it's not that complicated, actually. I'm going to do my best to simplify everything that I've learned and share to the best of my knowledge the way I understand things to work, and just all the wisdom that I've gained from all of this self-work I've been doing. You're even going to see me look over here and glance at my script every once in a while because, again, I'm not an actress. I have no makeup on. This is my casual outfit. I'm just here to share the magic because I want other people to experience what I am. So I've probably told this story of manifesting $53,000 to at least 200 people around the world. And again, every single time that I talk about this, people want to know how, and they almost don't believe it. And I get that, because if I were on the other side of this video listening to this girl, me, sharing this story, I would also be pretty skeptical probably 2 to 3 years ago, the person that I was with the limited beliefs that I had and the way I was kind of taught to be in society by the Western world and the East Coast of the United States, and the career that I was in, and just the way I was raised, and the ideas. And I had many amazing people surrounding me, but it was very focused on matter, money, working hard to get what you wanted. and not a lot of balance, not a lot of holistically healthy practices, and very, very, very little, if any, probably virtually none for me, spirituality or tuning into energy. I thought all of this stuff was super freaking woo-woo, really until 3 years ago. And that was the huge component that I was missing in my life that was holding me back. I was able to do a lot with the belief in myself, and I was able to create a lot, and I was able to make things happen, but it came at a cost from working very, 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 very hard, sacrificing a lot and working a lot, overdoing it, pushing my body and mind to the extremes to the point of having a lot of mental and physical health issues over the years. And now that I've tapped into these secrets, which aren't really secrets, there's the book, The Secret, the show, and then what I'm going to talk to you about today is the sequel to The Secret, The Magic, because that has been the one that really changed the game for me. So yeah, all of this just stems from a couple different inspirations. Yoga being a big part of it, learning how to meditate, my spiritual coach, and then of course the Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat that I just came back from. So over the next 10-15 minutes, I'm going to keep this short and sweet, get straight to the point. I don't want to waste anybody's time. And also, this is 2025. I know we all have short attention spans. So going to keep it simple, sweet, share my own story as an inspiration, kind of what I think works and what doesn't. And then we'll go from there and see if you guys like this and you want to hear more. I will keep sharing because I know that the few people I encounter here and there in my life, everyone wants to hear the story. And why am I not sharing it with more? I want, again, everybody to experience the magic that I am experiencing right now. And life can be beautiful and special and mystical and auspicious every day if you choose for it to. And I know it sounds really cheesy and it sounds like toxic positivity, and I'm okay with that because I know it works. And again, I don't really care what anybody thinks about me. This isn't about me. It's sharing authentically, and if it inspires someone, great. If they're not interested, move on to the next video. So cool. Go ahead and dive into how I manifested the check for $53,000. So backstory, I came out to Hawaii 3 years ago. I moved here not really knowing anybody. I got a new sales career out here and it was burning me out. I really hated what I was doing. I'd already been in sales for over a decade. I was a sales manager, sales director. And while I had a lot of success on the outside, on the inside, I was really feeling unfulfilled in a lot of ways, even though my life seemed perfect. Let's put it that way. I ended up moving out to Hawaii with a sales career. I quit that 1 year after being here in June of 2023, so roughly 2 years ago. And I decided to go on a self-discovery journey. Again, I was reading a lot of self-help books, listening to all the podcasts about figuring out what you really want, how to lead a fulfilling life, how to make more money with not working a lot of hours. And what it comes down to is really living in your truth. So I was told to read and try the book, The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. Also, I wanted to bring that book out and show it to you, but I can't find it right now. And instead of delaying this magical podcast or YouTube, whatever this is going to be, any longer, I'm like, Nicole, stop making excuses. You have gifts to share. You have wisdom to share. You have people that want to know how to channel this, how to create this. So stop making excuses and make the damn video. So that's what we're doing right here, right now. So again, I bought the book, The Magic, which is the sequel to The Secret. The Secret is all about law of attraction. For those of you who haven't read it, highly recommend it, or watch the show. I think it's on Amazon Prime. The Magic is all about the power of gratitude. And having a daily gratitude practice has been a game changer for me. And the more that I practice it, the more magic comes into my life and the more things I have to be grateful for. So that's essentially the broad overarching concept of the book. Again, The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. Highly recommend it. I will drop a link for the Amazon where you can buy it in the caption later. But for now, let's just go ahead and move on. So essentially, I was doing these practices. It's 28 days of a little thing that you read, and then you practice this daily gratitude. And the more you lean into it, even the woo-woo stuff that sounds a little crazy, right? The more and the faster you are going to be able to magnetize and manifest and draw in the results that you want. So I'm going to give one little breadcrumb sprinkle right off the bat. One of the biggest things when it comes to manifestation, not only having a clear intention of what you want to draw in, the other one is not worrying about how the universe is going to get it to you. So have gratitude for something as if it has already happened, if it's something you really want to create. And then again, don't put so much pressure on when, how, where is this money coming from, right? So we're talking about wealth, money, abundance, financial abundance right now. So there is a chapter in the magic book called The Magic Check. And this is the chapter that I really like to talk about because, again, it's such concrete evidence to the power of gratitude and the energy that an elevated frequency like that carries, and how it's able to draw that experience and that reality into your 3D human experience. I'm going to try not to use too many spiritual buzzwords like 3D and 5D and mix too much into the consciousness, because I know, again, the me like 3 years ago wouldn't really know what this person's talking about. So let's just say our reality, our outer world. How do I create that $53,000? So the Magic Check chapter was essentially a chapter where you are told to write yourself a check from the bank of the universe. So it's a blank check. I wish I brought that over here. I can grab one of those in a minute, but it's very simple. It just looks like a check, but it's a fake check from the bank of the universe. You write paid to the order of Nicole Miranda, and then you put the amount, and it's signed from the universe. So what I did was, the practice recommends that you make it an amount that will be significant enough so when that money comes to you, you will know that you created it. So it can be kind of a wonky amount, and that's what I chose to do. It can start small so that you know what happened, and then you build up to higher and higher amounts. So then as you start to trust in the process and the power of your beliefs, then you expand what you're asking for. For me, the way I viewed it was, I had just quit my corporate job and I had nothing else lined up. I was just taking the time to reset and figure out what I wanted to do with my life and my next steps, and just kind of reset my nervous system, because I was overwhelmed, overworked for about 35 years. That being said, I thought to myself, okay, I could write $5,000, but that's in Hawaii barely gonna cover my rent and some food for a month. So then it's like, I can write $500,000, but I've never made even that much money in a year to this point. So that's a little extreme unless I win the lottery, right? So I came up with a number that seemed reasonable and would be very helpful for me at the time in my journey of taking the sabbatical that I was on, but not some crazy life-changing amount of money, right? And I thought this was the way that was just, I don't know. People ask me all the time, why did I come up with the number 53,000? And to be specific, it was $53,765 that I wrote. I don't know exactly why. That was just the poof number that came into my head while I was doing this practice. And again, I think it was that ballpark range of, this was enough money to kind of help me out with my next 3 to 6 months. I had to know what I wanted to spend it on. So part of the practice was not just writing the check out to myself from the universe, but it was, what are you going to spend this money on? And for me, I was about to travel and go to Bali and get yoga certified. I needed funds for my food, living expenses, rent, all that kind of stuff over the next 6 months that were coming up. So that was kind of a number that was reasonable, that would help, get me through. So I wrote this magic check to myself. And then once you do that, you tune in and you have gratitude as if it has already come to you. So what I did to really walk you through this process step by step, I took the check and closed my eyes and felt into my heart, breathed, and started having gratitude as if I had already received the check. And this was in September of 2023 when I started this process. So I actually have the journal that when I wrote this down, and I have a picture of the check. I can show that for you guys later as well. Anyway, so I envisioned myself receiving that amount of money. And the purpose is, people always try to latch onto the details and say, well, where was that going to come from? What, you weren't working? Did you have commission check? I wasn't worried about it, because at the time I didn't know this, but I didn't have to be worried about it. The universe can tune into your frequency of gratitude. And if you feel something like it's already happened, and you can put that intention out there and then draw it in with an elevated emotion, guess what? That is going to come to you. And oh my goodness, all the synchronicities from the things that I've learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza, there's so much more since then, because I hadn't even been studying his work at the time. So anyway, I envisioned myself to have this check, and I said, thank you for this $53,000. I will spend this. I visualized myself spending it in Bali and traveling Southeast Asia, getting my yoga certification, treating myself to some massages, some nice meals while I'm traveling, airfare, whatever else I needed. My apartment expenses, my living expenses, food, and just being able to, I guess, enjoy life at that time and not have to worry about any financial restrictions because I wasn't working, because I knew that I needed this time to figure out what I wanted to do. So I did that in September. I was living in Denver at the time for 2 months. I just had my stuff in storage in Hawaii. I was having a great time. Every day I was really in this abundant, joyful, happy, positive state, and not for the purpose of trying to manifest anything, just because I truly felt like I made this decision to resign from my corporate sales career, and I knew it was the right decision for me. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I trusted that I would figure it out, or the universe would figure it out, or something would happen that I could give myself 3, 6, 12 months off. I just needed the time to figure out what I really wanted in life, because I was living a life based on what everybody else wanted for me, what everybody else told me, what school, what parents, what my friends around me had told me for a very long time. And society kind of creates this way for us to want to keep up with the Joneses, right? So, and there's my first mishap when I picked up my water bottle right there. This is why this is not going to be edited, and you're going to get it all. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I was really just figuring out what I wanted in my life. So I was just really happy. I was hiking. I was around friends. I was in nature. I was appreciating the beauty and the simplicity of, I didn't need to be making these big paychecks. I didn't need to be spending a lot. I didn't need to be showing off for anyone else. I was doing what I wanted to do. And I believe that the power of me believing I had that money, plus the really high frequency and level of gratitude and joy that I was experiencing, is what helped me draw that check into my life later on, as you're going to hear in a few minutes. And then additionally, the fact that I was not so attached to how, when, if it happened. I wrote this check to myself, and then I forgot about it. I thanked the universe for it. I put it in my gratitude journal, and I moved on with my life. I wasn't attached to the outcome. It wasn't like something that I was thinking about every single day. I let it go. And that's another step to manifesting. You can't cling so tightly to the what, why, when, how, even the exact outcome. Maybe I asked for that amount and that wasn't what the universe thought was meant for me or what was going to be good for me. I truly believe the reason that check comes into my life later is because I had the right intentions for what I wanted to spend the money on. It was true to me, and it was going to be things that were going to eventually help the world. Like this video that I'm now sharing from all of this work I've done on myself and things that I've learned through yoga and everything else. So anyway, September rolls around, comes and goes. I write that check. I completely forget about it. I don't tell anyone about it really. It's just this silly little gratitude practice that I did a few months prior. Move forward. I come back to Hawaii for a few months. Again, I'm hiking, enjoying time with my friends. And then in March of 2024, so almost exactly 6 months later, I go to Bali for the first time, and I do my 200-hour yoga teacher certification. Boy, was that an emotional journey, but an amazing transformative journey. Much more than I expected. I had no idea what to expect, and I've learned a lot from that. That's going to be a later video or podcast because there are so many nuggets of golden wisdom and beautiful lessons learned in that training. But for now, we're going to stick to this manifesting a check story. So I was learning how to meditate at that 200-hour yoga teacher training course through Yoga New Vision. Sorry, I said that really fast. I want people to know where I went. I heavily recommend this place because the teachers are the most genuine souls in the entire world. I get no commission for sending people there. Just the joy in my heart for knowing that another beautiful soul gets to experience what I did. Those 3 weeks were the most powerful, life-changing weeks of my life. It really set me off on this course of spirituality, tapping into a lot more creativity, abundance, connecting to my higher self, and living the life of my dreams. So I can't stress it enough how amazing that program was. I think it's the best in the world. Maybe I'm biased, but my teachers are incredible. So I will also drop the link for them in the caption as well. Anyway, that being said, I learned how to meditate. I did not know how to meditate a year and a half ago for more than 5 minutes. I couldn't sit still. It was actually driving me crazy. And crazy enough, just a month ago, I went to Dr. Joe Dispenza's week-long Denver retreat, and I can now meditate for 5 hours at a time, which is crazy, just crazy. But that's a whole nother topic, meditation and tuning into the void and the creators that we are. That being said, I was learning a lot. I was unlearning a lot of stuff, and I was tapping in. And I went home one night. I was in my hotel. It was probably like 2 weeks into the yoga training at this point. I was exhausted. You were on a yoga mat in humid weather for 12 to 13 hours a day, going inward. It's emotional, all that, right? But anyway, I was about to go to bed, and all of a sudden, I got a phone call. I'm not going to say yet who it was from, but in this phone call, I almost didn't pick it up too because I was so tired, but I was just like, I feel like I should. I answered this call, and it was somebody telling me that I was going to be getting a check for, guess how much money? If you said $53,000, you are correct. So, and then this is where everyone, oh my God, where is it coming? Everyone's mind wants to know. It doesn't matter. And I am going to share that in a later video. But for right now, I'm going to leave you on a little bit of a cliffhanger because I want to share that is not the important part. Where the money came from, it was a complete surprise. It was something I didn't expect. If you have any guesses, feel free to put that in the comments, especially if you haven't heard the story. I know a lot of my friends are listening to this. If you're new to following me, I would love to hear the guesses where that money came from because I did get this check 6 months later for $53,000. So, and it was just like, wait a minute. When I heard the number, I was like, I think that's the amount that I wrote to myself from the universe 6 months ago. And I'm like, wait a second, let me go back through my phone. Swipe, swipe, swipe. I go find the picture I took of this check, and it was like $100 off. Something so close that I was like, holy crap, I know that this gratitude worked. So I know that the book, The Magic, works. And again, this is just one day of the practice, but I'm going to recommend if and when you buy the book, I also get no commission on this. I just absolutely love it. And it's so magical. I can't not share this with the world. If and when you do it, don't just speed through it. Do the practices every single day for 28 days. It's the continuous belief and practice in what you're doing that is able to draw these type of results to you. So anyway, miraculously, I, from a very unexpected source, got this $53,000. And it was just like, I believe. And it really opened me up to a lot more abundance, a lot more synchronicities, a lot more belief in other things beyond me, and the power of our energy and the frequency that we are on, and the power of gratitude. So to start, thank you so much for listening to this. This is just it. I know this needs to happen. I keep getting messages from the universe. One, I need to finish my book, which I am writing and completing by the end of this year. And two, I need to share all of these stories to more public sources because, again, it's too valuable not to. And I want everyone to experience this. I've said that enough, all right? But I'm going to check my notes real quick because I don't want to miss anything. But that's the gist of the story. So it's very, very possible for anybody to do this. Again, I didn't do anything too crazy. This was like a little practice I decided to experiment with in my consciousness journey and kind of just lean into it. So it worked. And I've had probably at least 30, 40, 50 people buy this book just because of me. Maybe I should talk to Rhonda Byrne about getting some royalties or something. And it opened my eyes to a lot. I was later able to manifest, about 6 months later, another check for $53,000. I'm not even going to share the details of that story yet. That one's kind of personal. So I'm going to save that for also a later podcast. But if you liked what you heard, if you liked this story, if you feel inspired by anything that I shared, then go ahead and like, follow, and subscribe to this channel. I am going to be doing these little mini series of 15, 20, 30 minutes where I share an example like this and I kind of give some tidbits that I used, things that helped me, things that didn't work. I'll share some book recommendations, some podcasts that I like, just all the different practices that I put into place. Eventually, when my book is out, you will have the bigger, broader story of where I came from and how big of a transformation this was for me. Because, by the way, I was not religious or spiritual at all before 3 years ago. I was actually borderline agnostic, atheist, and now I believe in so much more. Additional things that I have manifested, just to share a few, and tell me what you want to hear next. Maybe drop that in the comments below too, what you'd like to hear. I have manifested my dream home that I'm sitting in right now in this beautiful luxury building across from the beach. I manifested a case of coconut water in the mail randomly, didn't order it, and was thinking about coconut water, and then it came in the mail. Weird, quirky little things, but it's still very funny and very accurate, and was exactly what I was looking for. I have manifested my dream career. I've living in my dream city, modeling gigs, the Ms. Hawaii title, the beauty pageant. That was something I never did before March of this year when I got thrown into that, and I'm now Ms. Hawaii 2025. I manifested meeting Dr. Joe Dispenza at his retreat, which all of my friends said, no, that'll never happen. There's 2,500 people there. Sure enough, I met him and had a personal conversation with him. He's amazing, and I'm so grateful for the work that he teaches, and I'm going to be leaning even more into that and, dropping some S-bombs, as I like to call it, spiritual bombs, secret sauce bombs, success bombs, really spiritual bombs is what I call S-bombs. And just, again, sharing all of this. I also manifested being featured on his live stream 2 weeks ago in front of thousands of people around the world, which is such an honor to hear that he saw my story as inspirational enough to feature in his stories of transformation. I didn't even anticipate it happening the way it did. And again, the unexpected, the unknown, the more you are unattached to the way things happen, the more you can create and draw into your life. So I think that's all I'm going to say for right now. I'm honored to have the opportunity to share, to have listeners that want to hear this. And I'll continue to, like I said, just share more of my own stories, more of the synchronicities as they happen live. Because that, for me, I'm telling this story with as much enthusiasm as I am, because that was the first really big manifestation in my life. But when things are fresh, I'm just a hype girl. I'm an enthusiastic person. So I'll share more of that. I'll share retreats, events that I may have coming up, friends, things I'm attending. Let's just make a cool, fun, conscious community, and let's manifest magic together. So thanks again. I'm Nicole Miranda, Ms. Hawaii 2025. again, brain exploding because things I never could have imagined happening for me in 2025. But I'm grateful for the platform, for the opportunity to teach people how to heal with energy, to tap into their intuition, just all the things that are coming. I have a vision, messages keep coming to me, and I want to share the magic. So that's what I'm doing. Again, if you like this, like, follow, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you soon. Aloha.